What's up? What's up? What's up, good people? It's your man Jay Free, the enlightened perspective, coming back to you again this evening. Hoping everybody's having a wonderful and blessed afternoon thus far. Hope that all things are going according to plan, and even if not, hoping that you are raising your perspective and your level of thinking, knowing that whatever trials or whatever situations stand in front of you, that only you have the ability to overcome them, as well as only you have the ability to actually stop you. Um, just continuing to share information, continuing to try to enlighten and uplift our people. Again, like, subscribe, get involved with what's going on. The purpose is to help to enlighten and wake us up to the things that are going on around us. Please leave comments in the comment box below. My whole purpose for doing this is trying to spark our minds and to create and generate dialogue so that we can begin the conversations that are necessary for our growth, and for our for the process of change, in spite of the things that we've been dealing with thus far. As you see the title, we're talking about World War III. This is so prevalent right now with what's going on, everything around us. So many people are caught up in all of the distractions, world love and hip hop, and I don't know, whatever local or current entertainment media news is going on. Everybody is so caught up and not paying attention to the things that are really important and prevalent that are right in front of us. This World War III is a very serious issue and a very serious topic for discussion. Before I even get into the Trump statement, I will play the clip. But the reason this is important, again, just hitting on information, man, is so much. Just yesterday, I believe it was, some documents that were released regarding Queen Elizabeth in regards to a World War III. Now, the documents or the papers are from 1983. It was a prepared speech for her. One of her people prepared a speech for her to deliver in 1983, in case of World War III or nuclear war. They were preparing for it at that time. You can Google and look for these documents. They've been released because there was a 30-year ban on the documents, the private documents, and now that the 30 years have surpassed, these private documents have been released, and this is just one of them. There are multiple documents that have been released from the government. This is just one in particular. So this is very prevalent that we would understand that this is a conversation that the powers that be have been having in secret for 30 years. They've already known these events and the things that are occurring, although the general public, we have no knowledge. This is why we are distracted. And so this is so prevalent and important, as we know what's going on over in North Korea with Russia and China and Syria. We know all of the things, or should I say we don't know, but we hear the things that are going on with our country right now, because it's a lot that is going on. So I'm hoping that people are paying attention, to the temperature as it's rising, because they told us that it would be 2, 3, 4 years before North Korea developed the capabilities to be able to actually become a threat to America. And now they did a test earlier this month, and they said that the missiles could reach Alaska. And now they did a test about a week ago. I did a story, and about a week ago they did another test, and they said that now they have missiles with the capabilities of reaching the heartland of America. And so now the reporters begin to say, yeah, they may have the technology to reach America, but they don't have missiles. They don't have warheads that are small enough to fit inside of the missiles. And so therefore it's still not a threat, because the missiles that they shoot, they won't be nuclear. So now today, a week later, the Washington Post has released a statement that is saying that apparently North Korea has developed warheads that are small enough to fit in their missiles, which means now they are armed, strapped, and ready and capable of striking the U.S. And so as they continue to issue threats to the U.S., naturally, this is the response from Donald Trump. And I'll play the response and we'll chop it up from there.
Best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening, beyond a normal statement. they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. Thank you.
Now, I don't know if you heard it as well as I did, and I'll play it again if I need to. But he said, will be met with power unlike anything this world has ever seen before. Now, mind you, the world has seen Hiroshima. And so that in itself was a major catastrophe, was it not? And so the fact that the world has seen Hiroshima, and he makes the statement that there will be, there'll be destruction and power unlike anything the world has seen. This is something that we ought to be thinking about, because Kim Jong-un issued the same threat to America, talking about, how devastating or how he will destroy America. And so this is what is going on. This is the atmosphere of what's happening around us as we're focusing and worried about all of these other minor things. See, and now in the midst of this, the reason I'm pointing it out as well is because there's also been some things going on, in behind the scenes, because this is all strategic. Now, the other day, the actor James Woods and a couple other celebrities issued warnings saying that if Donald Trump was removed from office, they said if Donald Trump was to be removed from office, that there would be civil war. And I can read specifically, and this guy here, Craig Salmon Sawyer. Now, this guy is a Marine veteran. You know what I'm saying? He's a Navy SEAL, and he said that there will be nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, no mercy, no sense of humor. Harsh examples will be made. He said, my prediction is it will be a gruesome massacre. So there's a lot of things that are happening that are stirring up. And on one hand, we as the general public are looking out, and we're regarding it as propaganda, or we're regarding it as our regular daily, news in some instances, because in a lot of instances, this information ain't coming out on the news. But we just regarding and watching it as though it's regular news. And our problem is, because we've been so comfortable for so long, we can turn on the TV and we can see, bombing in Syria. We can see a bombing in Iran, and we can see the devastation that, whole towns and cities have had to deal with due to war. But because war has actually never touched us here in the U.S., we watch these things on TV and it's a distant thought from us. We don't actually, gather the realization of an actual war taking place on the soil in which we walk, because it hasn't happened. And so this is what keeps us, kind of blind, so to say, to the facts of what's going on, because they're a group of strategic people who are intent on wiping out a large amount of the population for their own personal means. And it can all be researched. They are stirring up a pot, and they are trying to create world war as well as civil war, where we're fighting amongst each other. And all of these things are mandatory that we pay attention. It's a movie out called Imperial, and the movie's name is Imperial. And I mentioned that because the movie Imperial is based on a true story. And now, in the movie Imperial, you'll see the officer is he's an undercover Fed or CIA, and they send him to infiltrate into a Klan organization. And when you see the inner workings of how they operated and their plans and intentions towards their own agenda, and then you listen to James Woods and Michael Savage and Craig Sawyer, you listen to the statements they make about the organization of group that they have behind the scenes that are prepared and waiting if Trump is removed. When you see and listen to what they are saying between the lines, and then you watch this movie Imperial, and remember now, the movie Imperial is based on a true story. So the things that I'm saying may sound absurd, but they actually show them to us in this movie. You know what I'm saying? In detail, because it's a true story. And so the facts are there. And it's actually a true story from like 14 or 15. I mean, like, the details of the story are that recent in our history. So when you watch this movie Imperial, Pay attention to the details, people, because it's like I say, the point is to spark our interest and get our critical thinking juices working so we can pay attention to what's going on. Because if we have any chance of avoiding the conflict which sits before us, it is only if we as a collective group become aware and try to voice out to stop it. Because if not, the ball is already rolling. You know what I'm saying? And the bigger the ball gets, the harder it'll become to stop. And it's up to us. And so again, the things that I'm talking about, whether you like them, whether you agree or not, please comment in the suggestion box so we can start the dialogue. Please like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? To help keep the movement going, to help keep the word going. But more than anything, if you disagree, go dig in, research, go look up some of these things that I'm talking about. We all have computers in our hands via our cell phone. You can Google anything. And so, you know, ignorance in this day and age is a choice, because the key word is ignore. So, you know, with so much information readily available at our fingertips, you know, it behooves us that we would take the time to dig in and find out what's going on around us. People are finding about their Federal Reserve and Social Security numbers. You know, when you find out this information, you see that right there is a beginning. That's a first step in understanding the nature and level of corruption in which our governments operate. And so when you start there, then you begin to dig in and find out what's going on. And when you look out, like I say, pay attention, because the threat, it'll be like nothing the world has ever seen, even though the world has seen Hiroshima. And if he's issuing this threat and they're issuing the threat to us, as well as we allowing them to brew us up into the brink of a civil war, I mean, while people are preparing for vacation next summer and getting ready to go back to school, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, where we're sitting at right now. So we must begin to open up our eyes. We must begin to pay attention and begin to ask the questions, you know, why, how, what, you know, who, so that we can begin the process of trying to overcome. Otherwise, we have no future. Our future is being dictated for us. And so again, it's your man Jay Free, the Enlightened Perspective. As always, just looking to shed light, you know, on the things that are hidden in the dark, that we might spark our interests in our minds. And as always, I love you people. Blessings, peace, love, and light always. It's your man Jay Free, Enlightened Perspective, United Intellectual. Blessings.